Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. Happy to welcome Laura Prengeman from United Way and the recently concluded Day of Caring. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Laura, we think of Day of Caring as a time when community volunteers represent their businesses, but everybody represents United Way, and you get really great T-shirts and go out in the community and do some good, and everybody working together. We're so grateful for the many employers who release their employees for the day to go out and do this and all work together. This year looked very different. Tell me about it.
Yes. So in order to make sure all of our volunteers and the community agencies that usually participate were safe, we pivoted and we did a community-wide collection of non-perishable food, face masks, and cleaning supplies. That way we were still coming together and supporting the community, especially with some of these greatest needs that a lot of the agencies and individuals in the community need right now.
Yeah. It's especially important right now. How has COVID affected what you do from day to day?
So we, especially with volunteer stuff, we have really kind of had to halt a lot of the things that we're typically doing out in the community, but trying to work with as many agencies as we can to find remote opportunities and virtual opportunities. But then from an impact side, early on in March, we worked as quickly as we could and put together a fund for people to donate to help those really impacted by COVID-19, specifically with their rent and mortgage. And to date, we've raised over $260,000.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So absolutely amazing to see the community come together.
Because I think our community was almost divided into two parts. People who were drastically affected financially by it, when suddenly your business owners, small business owners suddenly have no income and not sure what to do as far as the people who they employ. And then some people who really were not impacted at all. They were considered essential. They had to just keep on going, whether they worked from home or whatever, and really weren't impacted. So it was an opportunity to truly help our neighbors, was it not?
Yes, and so many people that have never needed help before as well.
Yeah, that's it. What do you see as far as your numbers, as far as people being able to call saying, I never saw myself in this position, but here I am?
I don't know the exact numbers, but just based on the staff that are working directly with the people that we're helping through the COVID-19 Impact Fund, it's got to be at least half of the people calling in.
Wow. Well, let's give the good news. You were able to collect a lot of food and cleaning supplies and masks. So tell me all about it.
Yes. So we had collection sites throughout Stark County, as well as in Carrollton, and we were able to collect over 2,000 pounds of food and over 200,000 masks and cleaning supplies, which is just amazing.
It's phenomenal. And it's a different kind of goal. So, I mean, you met it, right? It would be like however many we can get.
Yes, exactly.
So usually we're so used to United Way having their goal, and then there's always that person who swoops in at the last minute and helps put you over, and it's all very exciting. But, you know, desperate times call for desperate measures, and this has just been a different kind of year. This is wonderful. Right. Now, how will this be distributed? What happens next?
So all of the items that we collected today that people were donating are going to be distributed throughout all of Stark County and Carrollton through a number of different community partners with us. We're going to work with all the different organizations that we typically work with and find others to reach as many people as possible.
You had some sponsors that really stepped up to the bat to help you do this. Who are they?
Yes, so I want to give a huge thank you to our presenting sponsor, Huntington Bank. They've actually been a presenting sponsor for the last 10 years of Day of Caring. So we are so grateful for their continued support. And our corporate sponsor for Day of Caring this year was Cutler Real Estate. And both of those sponsors actually hosted the other collection sites throughout the community. So that was a huge help in making this event accessible to as many people as possible.
Now, Day of Caring does kick off your United Way campaign. Is that kind of progressing as normal?
Yes, so we actually had a virtual kickoff event yesterday morning, and we did a specific ask to try and raise more money for the COVID-19 Impact Fund yesterday during the day, and we were able to raise $1,700 for that, so that's fantastic.
Wow, yes, just yesterday?
Yes,
That's fantastic. Okay, and then that will run how long, Laura?
So you can continue to donate to the COVID-19 Impact Fund, but also our annual campaign will run through December.
And what if somebody says, oh man, I wanted to give masks or I'd like to donate food? Can they still participate in some way through this Day of Caring?
Absolutely. They can reach out to us if they go to our website at uwstark.org. There's a contact form there. They can reach out and let us know if they're collecting with their workplace or they have a large amount they want to drop off. We can still coordinate that to go to our community partners.
United Way is very different than what many people still continue to think of it as. United Way really has changed from having United Way agencies to being actual projects and programs in the community that affect mostly 3 different areas. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Absolutely. So our mission is to help achieve a healthy life, a strong education, and financial stability for everyone in our community. So health, education, and financial stability are our 3 impact areas. And we have a number of direct services and programs that we're helping people in the community as well as helping other programs in the community in those impact areas.
Wow, and you couldn't talk about 3 more important ones right now. What right now is on everybody's mind? Every single one of those things. Everybody's
Absolutely.
mind. So how does an organization, a nonprofit, say, I've got a program that United Way might be interested in because it helps people in one of those areas. How do they get your attention?
So we will be starting a new funding cycle, I believe, in a couple of months. So again, visiting our website is the best way to get in touch with us and learn more about that process so that we can explain how to go through that application process.
Okay. Is it complicated?
I don't believe so.
Good. Okay. So not too bad. And
No.
But it's a little bit different than people think of because this is not your grandmother's United Way. Some people say, I give to United Way because they really support the organizations I love, or some people I've heard say I don't give to United Way because they support organizations that I don't support. It's all different. You want to help me understand and to be able to explain to our listeners how it's different now.
So the biggest way that you can help the community through United Way is by donating to our general community fund. And we have impact councils that are all volunteers that help determine where those funds go to best support those issues, those impact areas in the community. So they are constantly looking at what the greatest needs are in the community and what programs are able to do to really get to the roots of those issues so that we can have long-term changes. But you can also, if you are donating, you can designate to a specific nonprofit. But we really think that the best way to help is to donate to that community fund.
Let's tear it apart. Let's take it apart a little bit and peel back. So for helping people be as healthy as they can be, what kinds of help is available for people's health?
We have programs in infant mortality. There are programs in just general health. There are programs for seniors' health. So we have listed on our website all the different programs that are in each of those impact areas so that people can see specifics as well.
Since you mentioned infant mortality, is it okay if we take a little bit of time and talk about that? I even just recently was speaking with somebody who had not heard of Stark County's dismal statistics about infant mortality, but we've really been addressing it. Can you give me some good news there?
I don't know any of the statistics off the top of my head, but I know that specifically Stark County Thrive is a program working on education and improving that mortality rate. And I believe that they've been able to decrease those mortality rates so that we're in a much better position now than we were a couple of years ago.
Yes, thank goodness. Thrive's worked with other organizations too as well that I'm aware of, and it is definitely making a difference. But people didn't know things like safe sleep, the ABCs of safe sleep, and even grandparents wouldn't know because we did things differently when our children were babies, didn't know to put them on their back alone in a crib. That it would be, you'd tuck them in with a cute blanket that somebody knit for you and a teddy bear. And, it just isn't safe. So really better education happening, and it's working.
Absolutely.
It's working. That's so good. Now, what about in the education area as far as an impact area? What happens there?
The two goals that we focus on inside of education are kindergarten preparedness as well as the high school graduation rate.
Oh, nice.
So those are the main focuses, but there's a lot of different programs inside that speak to each of them.
Can you give us an idea of what some of those might be? I don't mean to be pop quizzing you.
That's okay. You are really stretching my knowledge.
I'm just curious.
So we have a number of different early learning centers that are working to prepare kids for kindergarten because that's such an important time in a kid's life to prepare them for future success. So just in Canton alone, there's JRC Learning Center, there's the YWCA, Early Childhood Learning Center, and there's so many more as well.
Yeah. Let's look at the last impact area, financial stability. What kinds of programs are available there?
Yeah, so we actually have the Financial Prosperity Center, which is located on 30th Street by Ohio Means Jobs, which, of course, during COVID, we had to go remote. But we have budget coaching programs. We have Prosperity at Work is a newly launched program with resource connectors working directly with staff at workplaces to help find solutions to the issues that they're having so that they can keep the job that they have.
Yeah. This probably isn't a fair question either, but what does it look like? What's the outlook right now, or maybe the general feeling of the folks you've been talking to as far as the outlook of making a comeback financially?
Well, I know that with all of the financial prosperity programs, they're really looking to get to the root to help the people they're working with set goals, achievable goals, and work to build a better future. And I know they've had great success with a lot of the people that they've worked with. So I think it's definitely an area, especially with everything going on in the world, that we really need to help people so that they can plan for the future and plan for these crazy times.
Crazy. Nobody could say it better. They are crazy time. We're speaking with Laura Prengeman with United Way, and specifically with a Day of Caring. So normally your job would be done then? You've done until like next year and another Day of Caring, or what? Tell me what you do the other 364 days of the year.
Sure. So I do a lot with our engagement throughout the community with workplaces and their staff. To help educate them about what we're doing, but also give them a chance to give back in tangible ways beyond just donating. So in a non-pandemic world, going out to community agencies and helping see where they do the good work and help them with a project that whether it's painting a room or cleaning up some areas or helping sort prescriptions at a pharmacy. So we have many different projects like that we work with people. As well as just just getting out as much information as we can to as many people in the community so that they better understand everything that United Way is able to do.
Mm-hmm. We're going to peel that back a little bit more, but we do need to take a short break. So we will be back with Laura after these words. You're listening to Our Community. Well, welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas with you, visiting with Laura Prengeman from United Way and the Day of Caring, the recently completed Day of Caring. If you're saying, oh, man, I wanted to be a part of that, you can still donate food, cleaning supplies, and masks in particular. That's the main things that we've been looking for: food, cleaning supplies, and masks, because, as you know, we've just been through something. And there are folks that are still in need. And Laura, how's the best way to donate some of those physical products?
So the best way is to just reach out to us so that we can coordinate a time, since our office isn't open to the public right now. Mm-hmm. So if you visit our social media platforms or our website at uwstark.org, and you can reach out to us there.
In a normal world, you have a lot of volunteers, lots of volunteers. But right now, things are just a little bit different. And we wanted to peel back a little bit about how people can help, how somebody right where they are make an impact on their corner of the world. What do you tell folks?
So we have done a number of remote volunteering projects. Back in June or July, we had Day of Action, where people registered to help us assemble care kits that would go to older adults in our community that were maybe feeling more isolated, stuck in their homes, that are supported by many different programs in our community. So they were able to come to our office in a drive-through setup, pick up the items, go home and assemble everything with their families, and then bring them back completed, and then we were able to get those distributed. So we have a couple projects like that throughout the year that we're able to do. And also, anytime we can try to find virtual opportunities, we do. We haven't had as many of those, but we're also working with our workplaces, and we've done a couple virtual agency tours where people get to see into different agencies that we're working with and see the programs that they're doing and talk to them more about it.
It makes sense. So many folks found out they could work from home without skipping a beat. Seems logical that we can also volunteer from home without skipping too many beats at the same time. But let me ask you this about volunteerism. It seems to be maybe a trend across the board, maybe a temporary trend, but the younger generation, the next group of adults stepping into the work world, are they volunteering as much as the generation ahead of them?
I actually feel like they are more willing to lend their time. They know the value of time, and they're willing to get out there and work on stuff with their hands. And so, yeah, I think they are really excited about volunteerism.
And it seems to be the type of project, not maybe like a long-term, I'll sit on your board for the next 5 years, but rather they like to roll up their sleeves and get into the trenches and do something for a day.
Yeah, and about things that matter to them, causes that they care about.
Isn't that always the trick? Plugging somebody into something that is their passion.
Yes.
Instead of asking everybody to work on the fundraising committee at some time, no, ask the fundraising people to do that and let the other people do what they love to do. Play to our strengths, yes?
Absolutely.
As far as donating, what do you see as far as financial charity with the next generation coming up?
Again, I think it's really all about finding those causes that they truly connect to. And I feel like they're really loyal. Yes,
exactly. That seems to be the consensus as far as where the millennials are coming from. They're a good group. You just got to get to know them.
That's right.
And know what makes them tick. I'm curious though, if no wrong answer here. Do you have any tips for how a family can instill that in their children now? So let's say the millennials and just past that, maybe some of the older millennials are raising their own families now. How can they instill giving and community loyalty and community service into that next generation. What are your just thoughts on that?
I think the more the children see them volunteering their time, working on projects and talking about why they're doing it really shows them at an early age that if it's important to their parents, then it's a value that should be important to them as well as they grow up.
Yeah, just model by doing. Do you see families doing some things together? Do you have some opportunities that families can do together?
We don't have anything right now available for people to sign up for, but we do have a Young Leaders Society, which is one of our networks, and it is made up of a lot of younger families. They are currently working on a project to create literacy kits, which will then be distributed through child and adolescent behavioral health to kids in 2nd through 4th grade. So they'll get a kit with a book, a couple activities around that story. There'll be like a snack, a note from the volunteers that assembled it, and a little craft, both that the volunteers made and then one that the kid receiving it would also be able to make.
What a great idea. What a nice thing to have your children do together. I know folks are starting to go back to school, and many of them are schooling at home as well, but this might be something, just to take a little break from schoolwork and do something just to help another child.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are you seeing now? Are we, where are we? Where are we with Well, I know things are not normal, but in a normal world, where do you see us going as far as what would be next? Like if, let's say, things were normal right now, what would be the next thing on your plate?
So typically we try to do something in October for the National Make a Difference Day, which usually it's an in-person project where we're creating something to then give to the agencies. This year we haven't put together a plan for that just yet because we're in such a waiting period, not sure what's going to happen next. So we'll probably work on that in the next month.
Again, a totally unfair question, but just as my mind is going and as we're talking, as far as being able to, say, parents modeling volunteering for their children, I know one of the main things we used to do was have our kids help us work at a soup kitchen, and that was just a once-a-week thing. We did it as a family, but right now, soup kitchens can't be doing it the same way. It's just not the same. And it makes it a little bit more difficult, doesn't it?
It really does. Yeah. I mean, all of those organizations that have the food for people to come and enjoy, they're still doing that same work. They're just having to do it in a much more difficult situation, having to do it with less staff, less volunteers.
Yeah. But we've learned the technology. Thank goodness we've got the technology we do so that we're able to do some things online and let people know this is happening. You can do drive up, those kinds of distributions. It's just a different world. Has there been anything that you see that we've done better or that's been something that had to be creatively thought up that you thought, we're doing it because of this, but it worked so well, we might continue to do it? Anything like that?
The virtual agency tours that I mentioned, we used to do in-person tours where SARTA would donate a bus and the driver for a couple of hours for us to take people around. And we did a virtual agency tour for the public, and then we did one for a specific company that wanted to. And it was a really great way to still get the same education and chance to ask questions directly to the people working in the programs in a much shorter period of time because there wasn't travel involved.
Right.
So stuff like that is definitely stuff that we'll probably continue to do because it's very accessible.
Well, I love that. And it also gives people who might not be very mobile an opportunity to participate.
Exactly.
And do you find that you've got some older people who would love to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this lets them. This is great.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So let me recap here. We were really, the reason we contacted you was because of Day of Caring and collecting food, cleaning supplies, and masks to be able to be distributed. And these again are going to be going to the agencies that you generally work with, and the distribution will not be coming from United Way. They'll be coming from different agencies that
Correct.
got them from United Way.
Correct.
But it's not too late
because those
to get.
organizations have the processes in place, have the client base that can use those items already set up. So
Yes.
we want to let them do their work.
And it was a phenomenal success.
It really was. And I do want to give a special shout out to Millcraft. They actually donated 100,000 face masks to us
Wow.
for this event, which is just unbelievable and so amazing of them.
Where are you keeping them? Where are 100,000 face masks right now?
There are a lot of boxes in our basement right now.
You've got some storage areas, I hope.
Yes. Luckily.
Wow. That's just phenomenal. The other thing I loved seeing in this community was how businesses suddenly just on a dime flipped and started mass producing things that they didn't normally produce.
Oh, of course.
Like making shields and face masks and sanitizers and things that they didn't normally make. They figured out a way to do it and find a need and fill it. Remarkable. Speaking with Laura Pringerman, I want to ask you, Laura, just in our last minute or so we've got here, for you personally, what was it about serving the community and working with United Way in particular that drew you? And what is it that is so fulfilling for you?
Seeing and hearing the stories of the people that we're able to help just really makes all the work worth it. Because something that to me might just be something so little could mean the world to somebody else, and it means the world to me to hear those stories.
Yeah, it really is hitting people right where they live. And with United Way, it's helping our own friends and neighbors right here in our community. It stays
Absolutely.
Right here. Pretty awesome. All right. Give us the website, how people can contact you, how people can give and donate, and eventually one day volunteer again.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of that can be done at www.uwstark.org.
Awesome. Laura Pringerman, thank you so much for all you do in our community.
Thank you.